Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Now that we have covered 5 lessons of second year, their reading, their explanation, I hope that you have gone through all those lectures properly and understood all the main points of these lectures. Now you know that during this pandemic, it has become necessary for us to continue this online teaching for some more time. So you are again advised to pay full attention to these lectures and try to get maximum out of that. Today we are starting the 6th lesson, a poem, I Dream a World, written by Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes is the poet. I'll tell you about this poet afterwards. First of all, I would like to tell you that actually in your textbook, lessons and poems have been put into one unit on the basis of their subject matter, their theme. The last 2 lessons comprised speeches. The first one made by Martin Luther King, the second one made by Nelson Mandela. And those 2 speeches were basically about a world where discrimination didn't exist, where there was no difference on the basis of color or race or other such things. So the poem I Dream a World is also on the same theme. It's a simple poem and there aren't many difficult words there. I hope you will understand this poem quite easily. So I Dream a World. Langston Hughes is a poet. I dream a world where man, no other man will scorn, where love will bless the earth and peace its paths adorn. So in these first 4 lines, the poet says that he has a dream. He dreams a world. What type of world? Where man, no other man will scorn. To scorn is to ridicule, to laugh at, to make fun of. And in that sense, it may give us the sense of detesting, hating. So he dreams a world where man, no other man will scorn, where there is no ridicule. One man doesn't make fun of another man, where love will bless the earth, where love will bless, it will be a blessing. It will be a very great and holy gift for the earth. And peace its paths adorn. Adorn means decorate, beautify. So he dreamed a world where love will be ruling the world. Love will be quite common and it will be a great blessing for the residents of the earth, and peace its paths adorn, and all parts of the earth will be decorated, beautified by peace. I dream a world where all will know sweet freedom way, where greed no longer saps the soul, nor avarice blights our day. So again, the poet says that he has a dream of a perfect world, an ideal world, a utopian world. You know, the word utopia is used for ideal world. So actually, he is dreaming of a utopia, an ideal world, where all will know sweet freedom way, where freedom will be for all will enjoy freedom. The sweet ways of freedom will be in access to all, where greed no longer saps the soul, and where greed won't be sapping. To sap means to take out, to make hollow, to create a vacuum, sap. Where greed no longer saps the soul, where greed will no longer make the soul vacant, where soul won't be made hollow because of greed, which means that soul will be the spirit governing our actions, our deeds. Nor avarice blights our day. Avarice is again a negative quality. Avarice means very, it also actually means very great and deep greed. Avarice is a lust, a very great and deep greed. Blights means creating what you can say blizzards. Blight means actually making ugly. Blight may also mean injure. So nor avarice blights our day. Our daily activities won't be governed by avarice or great greed, deep greed, and in that way our day won't be spoiled. Blights may mean spoiled. It won't be spoiled. There will be no blizzards. There will be no ugliness in our days. A world I dream where black or white, whatever race you be, will share the bounties of the earth, and every man is free. And again he says that he dreams of an ideal world where black people or white people, whatever color they belong to, and whatever race they come from, whatever race you be, whatever their racial background, will share the bounties of the earth. All the bounties, all the blessings, all the gifts of the earth will be shared equally by all people, whether they are black or white. And every man is free, and freedom will be available to every man. Every man will enjoy freedom. Where wretchedness will hang its head, and joy like a pearl attends the need of all mankind, of such I dream my world. And in this last stanza, these last 4 lines, the poet says that he dreams of a world where wretchedness, where misery, where poverty, where need will hang its head, where wretchedness or misery will be totally banished, where wretchedness will need a very drastic defeat, and it will have to hang its head. It will bow down to humanity. It will bow down to the dignity of humanity. There won't be any misery. There won't be any wretchedness. There won't be any poverty. And joy like a pearl. And in that way, joy will be available to all. Joy will be reigning or ruling the world, and its position will be like a pearl. A pearl is a natural bead, a very precious thing, pearl. A pearl grows inside an oyster, and it's very precious. So, he says that joy will be like a pearl. Of course, he is using a simile here. Attends the need of all mankind. And in that way, all the needs of mankind will be served. Attend here means serve. Will be served by joy. Joy will be mingled with all the needs of mankind. Mankind won't be won't be experiencing any wretchedness, and in that way, joy will be present there in the world for all. As if there is a pearl, that pearl, the price of that pearl may meet all the needs of mankind. So, in the same way, joy will be attending or serving all the needs of mankind. Of such I dream my world. And here he is personifying the world, and he addresses the world. He says that my world, the people of the world, my dream of this world is like this. I dream of a very perfect and ideal world. So that's the simple reading and explanation of the poem. You can see that the poem is written in 4 stanzas, and in 4 stanzas, and in all the 4 stanzas, the rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B. A, B, C, B. The first line will be given the letter A, the second B, the third one it's separate, so it will also receive another letter C, but the fourth one rhymes with the second one, so it will have the letter B. So A, B, C, B. Similarly, the second stanza, A, B, C, B. All, way, soul, day. Way and day have rhyming sound, so they are B. The first one and the third one are A and C. And the fourth one, third stanza, white, B, earth, and free. B and free are rhyming word, and 2 other lines don't have rhyming word. Similarly, the last one, head, pearl, mankind, and world. So here the poet has rhymed the word with pearl, because D in word is quite weak. It's sometimes it doesn't show its sound. When we say word, D becomes weak, so it becomes rhymed with pearl. So in that way, the poem is written in 4 stanzas having same rhyme. So here we complete this lecture. In our next lecture, we will be dealing with some more explanation of the poem. Thank you very much.